Now, this is a movie that snuck up on me, but I think there was a trailer that dropped before the one that dropped last night at CinemaCon. There was casting going back to even last year, so I'm late to the party. But I'm glad to finally get on the train because that trailer definitely moved me. Like I told y'all earlier, off the poster alone, off of this passage, you already had me sold. But then when I heard my man Zach Cregger, the man who put out arguably the best horror movie of 2022, was also behind this movie, oh yeah, sign me up. First day it drop in IMAX, I'm there. Alright, maybe not all that, but the theater will see me when this movie drops. Shout out to you, Zach. Just want to give you your flowers. I'm already knowing this movie's gonna be a hit. Absolute cinema. So I literally just got home after watching the Weapons movie. And I mean this from the deepest fiber of my being. Everybody associated with this film cooked. I mean, for this to only be the second movie Zach Cregger has ever directed. The fact that a movie like Barbarian was the first and this was the follow-up, and this movie was better than Barbarian, in my opinion. I don't know what to say about bro, but he's 2 for 2 in my eyes when it comes to this horror movie making shit. And then the actors and actresses in this movie. Julia Garner, Josh Brolin, Benedict Wong, Austin Abrams who played Dopehead Jane, Brother Alden playing Paul, Carrie Christopher, and Amy Madigan as the villain in this movie. Oh my god. Shout out to everybody who was associated with this movie, like I said, but I had to call up my standouts in case I don't have time to give every individual who I just called out a chance to shine later on in this review. Let me stop glazing though and instead talk about why I'm glazing the movie and share with y'all my overall feelings on Weapons. Before I get to yapping though, y'all already know what y'all gotta do. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those things. I'm literally recording this video at 1:30 in the morning, so fresh out of the theater. Show a brother some love, consider subscribing and following for more content just like this. From when I first seen the trailer of this movie, before I even knew Zach Cregger was attached to it, I was just so in awe of what could actually be causing these kids to disappear. Why were they only leaving from Miss Gandy's class? The way they were running in the streets at 2:17 in the morning. And the movie does a great job of not only giving us the answers to all these questions, with the exception of why the weapons run how they run, but like, I don't really care about that for real. The fact that they're menacing non-stop killer machines while running in that motion is what I care about. We get a lot of callbacks to the trailer in this movie, especially early on, which I like because that gives us even more content that we have not seen yet to feed on as the movie progresses. I don't want to say the movie felt dragged on, but I want to say it's respectfully long. You get some much needed background on the characters that we're following, on the events that they follow throughout the movie before and after the kids disappear from Miss Gandy's class. Not only are they showing the background of what these characters experienced prior to the current events of the movie, we're essentially getting it in chronological order, but not really. I will say though, most of the characters we're following in this movie, we follow from after the kids disappear until we get to Alex's story. And in Alex's story, not only do we get some much needed background on why bro is constantly walking to and from school by himself, going to this seemingly empty house with newspapers on the window, and why his parents are sitting so creepily on the couch. Not only that though, we also get a full understanding of what happened to the kids and why they disappeared, even to the time they disappeared. And it's all because of this evil woman right here that we gonna talk about in a little bit. Ooh, just looking at Shorty might give me nightmares tonight. I ain't even gonna hold you. But yeah, I really love the way all these storylines converge in a way that organically leads us to the closing stages of this movie. We get Justine and Archer pulling up on that fateful house where not only the kids are being stored at, but also where Aunt Gladys was getting down and doing all her insane voodoo rituals. Like, this old bag was really the embodiment of evil. I couldn't believe what she had this little boy Alex doing. Before I talk about her a little bit more though, I do want to give the movie trailer a little bit more glaze. My fault, I meant praise. Did I say glaze? The fact that they decided to leave out that Alex was the sole kid left pulling up to class still after all his classmates disappeared. Something that was so slight but so necessary. Imagine if we knew ahead of time that Alex was the only kid still pulling up to class despite the fact that all the other students in his class had randomly disappeared. In a situation like this, not only can you look at Miss Gandy as suspect in this situation, but you also gotta look at Alex as well. Like, why are you the only kid left? Now, what is it about you that the other kids in your class don't have? I said, them running in the streets at 2:17 in the morning, never to be seen again. You still pulling up to class faithfully like you're trying to get that perfect attendance back. But even after we figure out that Alex is the only kid reporting to class though, mind you, we find this out very early on in the movie. There's still not a clear answer of what's going on here. Why are the kids choosing to run out their house at 2:17 in the morning exactly? And where the hell did they run to? I will say I had a love-hate relationship with the realism of this movie though. And when I say realism, I mean the way the parents are feeling about their kids now going missing. Because on one end, it's very easy to blame Miss Gandy for the disappearance of these kids, right? They all disappeared from her class. Like I said, the movie does a great job in the early act of making Miss Gandy look incompetent. Got Archer pulling up the fact that she had a DUI report in the past. She's out here giving kids rides home. They even used the fact that she was giving kids hugs as a slight. I'm like, damn. But admittedly, all these things that they accusing her of are weird and very suspicious. When I'm watching the movie, I'm thinking maybe it's something inadvertently that she's doing that's causing these kids to disappear. But when Archer pulls up to the police station and questions if the police are looking into Miss Gandy, the police mention that she could not have made them leave their house the way that they did, all at the same time in that exact same motion. No, she couldn't have, but that evil old witch could. Oh my bro, she's so diabolical. The symbolism early on in the movie too, the fact that Archer tagged her car a witch, and we're literally dealing with the whole bruja as the antagonist of this movie. This shit was cinema, I'm trying to tell y'all. So much I loved about this movie. I love the way Archer went about nailing down exactly where the kids could have potentially went when they disappeared at 2:17 in the morning. The dream sequence that he had, as well as going over to another kid's parents' house who disappeared. Get an idea of what middle ground the kids all met up and potentially stopped at by looking at the ring camera on their respective doors. I also like the dream sequences that Justine and Archer both experienced in this movie, because one, they experienced them very early on in the movie, and two, they give us some much needed foreshadowing on what the hell is even going on to begin with. See in Miss Gandy's dream sequence that she sees all her kids lined up in her classroom, but their heads are down on the table, immobile, not reacting to the fact that Miss Gandy just walked in the classroom, except for Alex, whose face is in makeup. Kind of like that old witch I just showed y'all just now, who I'm not going to show up on the screen again because I don't want to have nightmares. Then in Archer's dream, we get to see his son Michael first leaving the house. Then when he follows him into the woods, he's met back at his house with a weapon, a little AR on top of his house. Big one too. It's not real, but it's the symbolism of it. The kid running back in the house is literally a weapon. Number 217. Now I'm guessing this is the block they probably live on, or God forbid this is the number of victims that Miss Gladys has turned into weapons over time. But even in his interaction with his son once he gets back in the house, Michael is not talking to him, and that's because of the condition that Gladys leaves these people in once she turns them into weapons. We gonna talk about it. I could talk for days about things I liked about this movie. Like I said, the way that they're depicting Miss Gandy early on in the movie, somebody who's untrustworthy, demanding, has to have things her way or it's no way. And I mean, just look at the way she tempted Paul in that bar. I knew my son hit just off the interactions in that bar. She was coming off mad seductive. I'm telling you, Zach Kreger and that staff did a great job of painting Miss Gandy out to be a potential villain in this movie. Especially when relating this movie back to Barbarian, seeing how Justin Long's character really became the antagonist by the end. One thing we know about Zach Kreger movies, he's going to throw in multiple twists in them. So I was really trying to deduce what the hell was happening really early on in the movie. I thought I had it pinned. I just knew Miss Gandy was involved in this somehow. The whole time it was this devious play set up by Aunt Gladys. I'm going to get to her right now. One more thing I want to give the movie credit for is how they use this chronological order of events in order to bring Justine and Archer's character together, the way that they're able to confront the evil that is Miss Gladys by the end of this movie. Now, Miss Gladys is nothing short of a villain. You could even call her a super villain. I'm not even going to hold you. I need y'all to really hear me when I break down this plot to y'all. So we first see Aunt Gladys at work during Andrew's storyline. Aunt Gladys pulls up to the school saying she needs to speak to Alex ASAP. Andrew's not trying to let her speak to him without the parents involved, so he kindly turns her away. Just for her to pull up to him and his partner's crib and start effing things up the moment she walks in there. Starts off by cutting a lock of his partner's hair. Then she pulls out something that belongs to Andrew. After wrapping his partner's hair around a stick and breaking it, she then rings a bell, setting Andrew off, beating the hell out of his partner, literally bashing his partner's skull in with his own skull. After this, she sends Andrew on Justine because she's been looking into what the hell is going on with Alex. And Archer's there to defend Justine, but once these people start going crazy, there's literally no stopping them, which is another thing I really liked about this movie. The way they depicted the durability of these humans once they're in this trance. You see the only way to kill them is by inflicting direct damage to the head. Anything else and they're getting back up. I like how the movie slid in that cordyceps channel that Andrew and his partner were watching before Gladys pulls up. Her ringing the bell and putting them in that state is similarly to how the cordyceps take over the human body, at least in The Last of Us anyway. Makes them literally move like zombies like the kids were at the bottom of Alex's house. Justine and Archer realize that this is all taking place at Alex's house. We get to Alex's story. And Alex goes through it in this movie. So apparently Aunt Gladys is Alex's aunt. And she's visiting the family because she is dying and her sister offered to take her in. But literally on the second day she's there, already some weird shit's going on. The parents are sitting at the table. Alex is confused what's going on. Based on what we already know from Andrew's perspective, Gladys is the one controlling them. She got them in such a bad trance that they literally sit at the table for multiple days at a time and barely form full sentences when talking to Alex. You see here she threatens Alex, telling her if he tells anybody about what she's doing to his parents, she can literally have his parents eat each other. Shows in them stabbing themselves in the face. Oh nah. Then she talking about you gotta feed them to keep them alive. Huh? So he's literally feeding them soup every day to keep them alive. And what we find out is essentially Miss Gladys is trying to suck out their life force to keep herself alive, but them two are not enough. So she decides, you know what, Alex, what I need you to do at school tomorrow is take a supply from every one of your classmates. When she asked him to do this, I already knew what was coming. She put all them supplies in that bowl of water. threw some pop rocks in it, rang the bell, and them kids came running. When the police questioned her and Alex, she had the kids relocate to a basement underground. The way we first find the kids is crazy too. Shout out my boy James. I didn't talk about much in this review. Him running up at Alex's house the way he did and going down to that basement to see all them kids down there and barely making it out that house with his life. That shit was terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. What was also terrifying was seeing her make her sister take a piece of Miss Gandy's hair while she was staking out their crib. I thought Miss Gandy was done for. Shout out to the way they set up that scene. I also like the way they used audio in this movie. Keeping it low when the movie really wanted us to lock in and immerse with the main character. In the end, Alex is able to save the day by turning Aunt Gladys into a target. And them kids get to ripping Aunt Gladys up. Shout out to the kids in this movie, man. They were calm throughout. I know they couldn't wait to get to running the way they were. They looked like they was having so much fun. I give this movie a 9.25 out of 10. It was really good. This is definitely my movie of the summer so far. Zach Kreger, keep cooking, brother. And I'm gonna need y'all to watch this movie in theaters ASAP.